Hello and welcome to the WWE Evolution / Saturday Night's main event review. I'm Michael Sidgwick, joined by fellow Dudley boy Michael Hamflett to discuss everything that went down on Counter Program Mania. But before we get into it, if you're a fan of this sort of thing, make sure to subscribe to WhatCulture Wrestling. Well, not everything. I'm not doing NXT. Make sure to subscribe to WhatCulture Wrestling on Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, Spotify, and YouTube. For daily wrestling podcasts, we preview and review Raw, SmackDown, the show formerly known as NXT 2.0, Dynamite, Collision, pay-per-views, premium live events, question and answer time. We have wrestler interviews on occasion, roundtable discussions, and a roundup of the week complete with a bloody good quiz of chaos on wrestle culture.
We're going to start with Evolution. We're not going to do this chronologically, Sidge, because you are correct. Well, this little wry cynic over here, he's not wrong all the time, to call it Counter Program Mania because I'm pretty cross with the old Fedsky. I had a dark night of the soul as All In came to its conclusion, where I hadn't even need to have seen Saturday Night's main event to know that All In would be superior. A long and detailed... I
didn't need to see anything to know that was going to happen.
Stop it. A review that we're both very proud of that is out available for you to view now on YouTube, or if not yet available audio, YouTube is coming. Thank you, Adam and Nicholas, getting it uploaded from home. But hence why we're having to squash and combine some of this. This is a problem of WWE's own design. And I'm going to start this very much the way I started the All-In one, in that we're going to do Evolution.
And our families.
Yeah. You know, there's a lot of weekend time that needs spending with the wives and kids, and instead we're watching a stinking business. Like, I want to do Evolution first, even though it didn't come first in the calendar, because it's Evolution, and it's the suffering that Evolution, and as its branding and the legacy of the first show, that is the muckiest in all of this. Evolution, right out the gate, I'll say, delivered it in such a way that I think it was the best WWE PLE of the year.
Yes, but I buy some distance for me.
Yeah, I think Elimination Chamber runs it close because we can live in that world where we didn't know what was going to happen with the John Cena heel turn, and the card itself was pretty strong. But Evolution smoked that and like was better than both nights of WrestleMania, on balance, all that kind of stuff. And more's the pity, really, because this felt like... On Wrestle Culture, I described it as there's a couple of different chips. Which chips do the wrestlers pick? Do they pick the chip in which they're like, we're being used as counter-programming tools here, and take the night off and throw it and be like, no, we're not going to be patronized by this format and this like grabby sort of more about promotion than about a genuine ethos or a parody? Or are we going to have that competitive chip of, should we try and just make this show completely awesome and prove ourselves? And thankfully, it was the latter. Thankfully, it was the wrestlers as competitive athletes. And the very definition, I would say, if you consider the build to most of these matches as all right on the night. And Saturday Night's main event
sucked ass.
Was not so good, Al. There was elements I look forward to praising, but as a result, I just thought Evolution was a card worthy of whole praise, whereas Saturday Night's main event more about the headlines. We'll touch on it now. Browed thoughts. All In, consumed your weekend. Got a bloody lot of it. However, how did you find Browed Thoughts Evolution fitting it in as you had to around this biggest event of AEW?
I didn't have to fit it in because All In had long since finished, but eventually really loved it. Really loved it. So I watched that. I watched Evolution this morning.
I suppose like mentally and emotionally, I guess. Like the point.
I mean, to be honest, after All In, I was like, I just want to see the takes, read the reviews, develop my own thoughts. Catalog it in my head, remember things. That was less than ideal from the perspective of a writer, podcaster, whatever. Saturday Night's main event, I kind of watched it incrementally on the Sunday as it was like, right, okay, we went to the pub for a couple of pints and a beer garden kick around. Like football pitch fixed to my local. It's wonderful. So it was like, I didn't give it the like matinee, get my snacks, watch it intensely all the way through. It was right, I'm out the shower, the kids are slowly just getting their clothes on in front of the telly downstairs before we do the activity, right, on my phone for a bit. And then, right, okay, we've been out, the wings are in the oven, you don't really have to cook that much once they're cut and all the rest of it. The kids knackered from the football. Yes, another thing. So that was it was just a chore. Like, I have to do this for work. Oh, God, guess what? It reeks ass. So I don't give a toss about this. Evolution, though, was something that I had a feeling it would be pretty damn good. The effort would be there if nothing else, and there was actually a lot else. And I was happily watched it this morning. So I was in a good place to watch it. I felt like that was the fairest way to do it because the level of graft on this show was genuinely class.
It needed to be for me personally. I watched it live because AEW screwed up my sleeping plans and stayed up till like 2 o'clock to watch that show. So I was kind of behind, and it's 1 a.m. Midnight it was actually UK time, and it is one of the things when you start a show live. Often that we speak about that match, right? It's like, and that's where I crash out or go to bed. I'm going to have to watch the rest of the morning.
At this point in my life, unless they're flying us to the States, even WrestleMania, I can't be asked to watch it live.
You feel the flag set in and
it's just a fed, isn't it? I don't care.
Anyway.
I did like the show a lot.
And it started hot. We got a match that I think I've been higher on than you in terms of the story, but has always shown the potential of itself in ring. Bayley versus Lyra Valkyria versus the Intercontinental Champion Becky Lynch. We always say when Wilborn's off, we're not as skilled at recapping as we are, and I would say this match illustrates that match for me the most because there was really this flurry of action and phrases like non-stop and all action, things like that are kind of cliches and they're overused when describing wrestling. But this was one of those cases where I would say all the cliches were true.
My match of the night, this.
Mine too. And there was some competition and I look forward to going a bit deeper on some of those matches that are kind of easier to pick spots from. But what I was so impressed with here, I would have liked more of a body part than what it felt like we were going to get. I would have liked a bit more boring stuff, some limb work explored between the wrestlers because it appeared...
Not in a triple threat.
Well, it appeared on the few occasions early on when it was specifically, I think it was Becky and Lyra and then Becky and Bayley that would happen. And the one person being taken out was to sort of injure a couple of body parts and then every time, once you get this finish in all three and two are going to be selling, whatever. We didn't really get that. That sort of got dropped in favour of just this rapid constant exchange of moves. Like Lyra Valkyria, for a start, did not at any point look like she's been doing this half the time as her sort of opponents there. They all looked like contemporaries. It looked like, and this is a bit of a throwback in this regard, it looked like they'd been working this out on the house show for the last 3 weeks.
Yeah.
And they'd perfected it. And we know that's not the case anymore. So I think all the more impressive that they managed this. This was, again, for anybody that's not watched it, just all about intensity. All about Becky Lynch using a few more shortcuts in terms of the move she was trying versus Bayley and Lyra Valkyria's attempt to do it fairly, but keep the advantage. The triple threat may be the way the triple threat was intended. I've got to beat you while keeping the other person from stopping me.
Yeah.
And they just played with that formula over and over and over again. This obviously ultimately led to just a raft of really quality near falls, especially down the stretch when the wrestlers were starting to sell the exhaustion. See it physically, it was written all over the face. They were all striking very, very hard. This was kind of a theme of the night in the same way it was in the Casino Gauntlet All In, where it does, you pointed this out in our All In review, it does feel like women are almost required to hit harder in order to generate a reaction. Now, I think this crowd in Atlanta were hot all night for this. They felt like they were on the side of the wrestlers as well.
Yeah.
There was almost a sense within the building that very little of this card has been given the credit it deserved.
I don't want to sound like one of the most boring people online. There was a lesson here told to WWE in terms of
structure and how many people put on a card and
wrestling's good.
Well, yeah, I will say that as well. There's definitely a time and a place for it. It ended up around 8,000. So I think they got what they needed in that last week to make the building at least look respectable. And it did sound
more
great.
Than respectable.
Sounded great. I mean, for these days, sounded great all night. Anyway, the finish
for WWE, mate, for WWE,
the most elegant of all the moves exchanges. Ultimately,
oh my God, this finish!
It was honestly, you throw these words around. It was quite beautiful to look at in its construction. So Lyra Valkyria hits Bayley, it was, with an Insiguri to theoretically put her out, gets the Nightwing on Becky Lynch. That gets a really hot 2 count. But in that moment, Bayley is able to come in and drill Lyra Valkyria with the Rose Plant. She thinks she's going to get 3, but the way she's sort of fallen on top of Lyra for the pin, Becky is able to recover and grab Bayley's 2 arms into a backslide. It's totally instantaneous. She gets
so fluid.
So fluid. She gets to 3 And because they're by the ropes, because obviously the rose plant has taken as well as the ropes, she's just sort of able to like barely hold on and then roll out the ring as soon as she hears the 3 registered. A kind of ultimately a finish that was an illustration of the wider story of the match. I think it came in at about 16 minutes here, and it flew.
I can't believe it. I can't believe it, because I watched this match. I thought it was fantastic. The theme of the show, if in fact you're going to be cynical about it, was it Fightful Select that reported? I'd never like putting people's reports in their mouth, if that's even anything. Is that anything? When it just comes to mind, otherwise I would have researched it. That said, there was like discontent that had been used as a shield, basically.
Mm-hmm.
They knew. And like Trish Stratus had spoken candidly, publicly, that I wish I didn't have such a boring segment with Tiffany the other week. I wish there was more time to develop something. They knew.
Jokes about them going to Beyonce as soon as it had wrapped and all that kind of thing.
They knew, or very much seemed to know. They've kind of,
Is the point of this that we shouldn't have obstacles?
Yeah.
And we just built us a bunch of obstacles.
Yeah. Like they knew what the deal was, what they were being used for, how cynical it was. And it just was reflected in all right, okay, well, let's just go out there. I was so impressed. And I was so impressed by how awesome this match was, the theme of the night and the ultra-motivated performances. And what's more, I was more impressed by how they channeled those frustrations without feeling desperate or grabby. Like they didn't decide, we'll do our best shocked kick-out faces. Even though Ria is becoming a bit of a criminal offender in terms of her facials, but we'll get to that. Mostly, every wrestler, they didn't do anything self-conscious or trying too hard. This was just like note perfect pro wrestling action.
Becky with the manhandle slam was the only one I can think of.
Yeah.
Okay, right, what am I going to do now?
Yeah.
Okay.
You can have a bit of it. It is wrestling. They didn't really... They tried ridiculously hard, but they didn't try too hard at the exact same time. Just the sheer defiance of the performances in this match in particular was like basically follow that. And they weren't speaking to their fellow women in the locker room. Follow that, Raw.
Yeah.
Follow that the next time you do one of these like endless, cliched, melodramatic slop pay-per-views. Follow that and see if you can get Show the Air off this, where it felt like it was theirs. The urgency in this match was unbelievable. The defiance of the performances. If you wrote down this match move for move, and this is the case for literally any match, you'd think, all right, okay, well, that sounds good. It's such a difference to see it performed. Like there's a point where Bayley does a driving elbow in the corner when I think it was Lyra was suspended between the turnbuckles.
Yeah.
It felt like all the wind had been knocked out of her. Every single thing they wrote down or like discussed. And it's one of those things where they go through the match and then, as far as I'm aware, a wrestler, they'll come together with the ideas. Maybe there's some, I've got a spot in their WhatsApp. Then they'll come together on the day of the show, go, right, this is the match. Should we take that out? Yeah, whatever. And then they have to repeat it back to each other. In the process of doing all that, I think literally every single thing that they said we should do was done to perfection. I'm not saying it was a perfect match. I'm not saying it was match of the year. Probably top 25 for me out of the two companies. Yeah. Everything they did looked awesome. Nothing they did looked like they were trying to... I've become so averse to the stop trying to have a 5-star match in front of me. Yeah. This was not that, but at the same time...
It was intricate without feeling rehearsed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The
counters looked opportunistic rather than
opportunistic counters. It felt like they were trying to win throughout. That was probably the key. Why I'm taking my customary long-winded way to get to this. So many attempts to win. So many flailing attempts not to lose. So much physical violence without a single plunder spot. Not a match of the year, but for what they were going for, almost perfect. And I checked the match times for this specifically because I had an agenda. I honestly thought this went 10 minutes. The fact that it went 16 is somehow more impressive to me because I never felt once like it, right? I thought this went 10 minutes, and I was desperately disappointed to discover, oh no, it went the same as any pay-per-view opener ever. Not just in the Casino Battle Royal, the Casino Gauntlets at all in Texas, but the pacing of the early matches, and I need this pace and style 10 minutes on an AEW show.
Yeah.
I was so up for more wrestling after this.
Great tone set of this.
I was so up for the rest of the show. Like the sheer urgency, the pace, the intensity, the desperate attempts to win, to not lose. And another thing that I'll often say on these podcasts, the mega fans hopefully will forgive me, is I am a big fan of recency bias. It makes you feel like you're still alive. Genuinely. If you have recency bias and you've just thought you've seen the match of the year or the best match of your life or whatever, and then it takes a couple of months for you to realize, oh, yeah, it probably wasn't that good compared to something I saw in 2021 or whatever. But I'm glad I loved it in the moment. When Becky Lynch did the pin for this finish, Wade Barrett, with so much genuine sincerity in his voice, just screamed, that was the best pin I've ever seen.
Yeah.
And in that moment, I believed him.
Because it was so slick, wasn't it? Mm-hmm. As a wrestler commenting on that. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That was the best pin I've seen ever.
Yeah.
It's like, I believed him when he said that.
Yeah.
This is fantastic, this.
Becky Lynch, it's funny, isn't it? For all that, like, the man and the rise of the man was all about getting into the main event and the narrative about being a main eventer and a headliner and all that sort of stuff. What she has absolutely figured out about this, like, this era of WWE and this era of her career, wrestlers get it. Whatever it is, they get it in different ways. What she has got about being Becky Lynch is the TV, especially in WWE, is where you can, like, lay out your premise, cut a good promo if there's a good story to cut a good promo on, get on these PLEs.
Yeah.
She understands the value of these PLEs. Becky Lynch, like, racks up these quality PLEs, and she doesn't mind going early.
Yeah.
Because she's got that, follow that mentality. There is a belief in her work that you can, not in the old night Shawn Michaels way, just in the, I think it might be the best, lads. Like, she goes on first, second, like, early doors, and often steals it from that spot. And I think she's still aware of the value of that versus, like, knocking out the TV reps.
Yeah.
I think she gets that. Like, she'd rather sit out a month and just get the pay-per-view one right, get the PLE one right, and I think this is another case of her doing it. Best night for Bayley in ages as well.
Oh, the years, probably. Since WrestleMania 40.
Yeah. Switching gears to a sentimental favourite of ours here on the podcast, the NXT Championship is on the line. Jordynne Grace, at long last, getting her shot against the NXT champion.
She's in a stable called...
She is in a stable. Yeah, they're a stable called Fatal Influence. That, of course, is Jasmine Hicks, Fallon Henley, and JC Jane. The reigning NXT champion. And they play the video package for those that might not have seen it, of the shock of her defeating Stephanie Vaquer and the kind of inevitability of Jordynne Grace. When she gets a shot, she will win. And then we played a clip from earlier in the day. Where
I'm minutes away from praising Shawn Michaels' booking here, and I can't believe it.
Where the Glamour Noughts are brought together. And it's off the back of a result at the Great American Bash, where, go on, we'll have a go on him. I don't like...
And God bless the United States.
It's for America, it's not an endorsement.
It's for the funny voice.
Yeah. From the Great American Bash, Blake Monroe had befriended Jordynne Grace in order to get on the card, and in doing so has pinned JC Jane. So they're now mates, and Jordan's like, it would mean a lot if you were out at ringside with me. I know that Fatal Influence are going to be there. So Blake Monroe's hesitant at first, but says, yeah, all right, I'll see you out there. So there you go. They're the sort of corner women, and the match takes place. We have a bit of fun at the expense of, not at the expense of NXT wrestlers per se, but more the characters that are given to these wrestlers.
Yes.
JC Jane more than once has been given a character that is there to take the piss out of a little bit. But I will hold my hands up, because I think while enjoying taking the piss out of some of the Browd characterizations, I think I have missed JC Jane becoming quietly quite a good wrestler.
Because it's been happening for a while. We have praised her.
We have praised her, and like sometimes it's felt like you're doing that thing where you're best isolator for praise this time, because sometimes we don't. I thought she was excellent in the Stephanie Vaquer title change and the tag match that built to it, and I thought she really held her own here.
This is probably the best night of her life.
Yeah, this was so far removed. Ironically, considering that the whole story is she's a paper champion, this was so far removed from what you would have imagined Jordynne Grace versus JC Jane to be if I told you it was going to happen on January 1st. JC Jane has quite quickly like evolved with the status of being champion. She wrestles with confidence now. She's able to have sustained heat on Jordynne Grace without it feeling fake, like she's needing to go for shortcuts. She hits very hard, like her striking and the connection on these strikes. When Jordynne Grace is so physically dominant, like you actually believe that these strikes can keep Jordynne Grace down. And
it's very cartoonish, but her attitude's really strong as well.
It's quite funny. Like, she's borrowing a little bit from Chelsea Green in all the best ways. Like, I mean that in a complimentary way. She's like, I don't know if it's tape study or she's picking certain heels of that ilk. And then as a result, the strikes are kind of a surprise. So this was more of a traditional match than I expected, basically. I did think this was going to be cat and mouse and Jordynne Grace just, like, she is inevitable, basically. But no, this was very much more your standard formula match. Jordynne Grace would always power out when Jacy Jayne opened the door for her. So, for example, there was a couple of times when, she caught like Jacy Jayne, which is a massive spine buster, and she's got all of this power. Gets like there was Jacy Jayne trying to counter. I can't remember what it was. She tried to do a Hurricane Rana, and Jordynne Grace is so strong she's able to hold her up. And then you panicked for a second that she's going to drop a clean on her head, and she turns it into like a rotating tiger bomb.
Yeah,
she's got all these like power offense moves that she can use, but Jacy Jayne keeps surviving. And then you get the sort of the twist at the end, I guess, where Fatal Influence do what we've presume the whole match they're going to do, which is get involved. Jacy Jayne is getting desperate. She tells Fallon Henley to get the title. Fallon Henley goes to get the belt, gets in the ring. There's a bit of drama with the referee, and the belt ends up getting thrown to the floor. Fallon Henley takes the ref anyway, and Jasmine Nix at this point goes to the other side of the ring where the belt is. Goes to grab it. She's taking a look for a second because there's continued dissension. Did you see the Fatal Influence press conference bit from the Grow American Bears?
No, of course not.
So Jacy Jayne
I've watched a thing.
Jacy Jayne is being interviewed in this little studio, right? And it's like, oh, Jacy, you've got the big match this weekend. It's a tag match and so on. And she's answering questions and that. And then it's like, well, Jacy, thank you for your time. And then right as things are wrapping up, Fallon Henley and Jasmine Nix arrive. And they're like, what's going on? And they're like, we're finished. It's like, well, why did you tell us it was this time when it was this time? So Jacy Jayne's told them the wrong time so she can have the spotlight all to herself.
That's good.
Cute little bit happening, right? So then you see Jasmine, that's why I'm saying Jasmine Nix is holding the belt and she's like, I think I want this actually. But then in the moment where she's frozen with the belt, out of nowhere, Blake Monroe runs in with a spear, and then she looks up to Jordynne Grace, says, I've taken care of it, you're good to go. They do a move where Jordynne Grace hits the ropes, and then Blake Monroe just absolutely wallops Jordynne Grace in the back with the belt, like she's immediately selling. She basically falls in to Jacy Jayne, who manages to drill her with that massive discus punch. She's been half knocked out by the belt. She gets the three. Fatal Influence celebrate in the ring. Blake Monroe brings the belt into the ring, presents it to Jacy Jayne. They're not aligned, and Blake Monroe knows now that she's kind of used this friendship to get a title shot, and there's very much a sense of, down the road, it's going to be me and you. But the twist is that she screwed Jordynne Grace. She walks off to the floor to do a very kind of Mariah May heel Bond villainess poses, while on the other side of the ring, Jordynne Grace is selling, almost looking like, I cannot believe you got me. And bloody nose off the discus punch as well.
Bad news first. Michael Cole blew it.
Oh, God, yeah, backfire! I know it was a heel turn.
It was a heel. Like, he completely
had a bad night, Michael Cole.
Yeah, he killed the emphasis of that heel turn to the point where I thought, hang on, have I just seen what I thought I have? Or have I not? And is there going to be some kind of plausible deniability slow burn? It was a heel turn.
Yeah.
Right? I'm still a bit confused.
No, yeah, it was. Like, they held it on Monroe's face.
Yeah.
And the camera was good. Keep pulling the face, Blake.
Yeah. I thought this was a very good pro wrestling match. Jacy Jayne just completely wrestled like a star and was received as a star. I think I was more impressed with her than Jordynne Grace in terms of her presence, in terms of someone who could probably be on these shows and starring on them as a main roster person. Even though Jordynne Grace wasn't bad, it was just really taken with Jacy Jayne's performance. It was
bizarre how suddenly it felt as much like a showcase for Jacy as it did for Jordynne when you didn't think that going in.
This booking from Rotten Bottom. Rotten Bottom, Hicken Bottom, Shawn Michaels, and Boyd Soy. That's actually quite good.
It's quite good, isn't it?
It's quite good. So if you're watching or listening to this podcast, because he's one of our takes on Evolution, a main roster WWE PLE, for all intents and purposes, don't really watch this NXT very much. The whole crack is that in a shock win, Jacy Jayne, who's been in NXT for like years at this point, beats Stephanie Vacquet to facilitate that main roster run. And the idea is Jacy Jayne Oh, right. Just a transitional champion.
Really well presented as like the upset of the century.
Yeah, upset the century. A really good bit of business, that actual title change. And they've made a canon that what thought was the reality of, oh, well, she's a transitional champion. They just don't want Jordynne Grace to beat Stephanie Vaquet because that's a big match they can save for the main roster or whatever, even though they've done it. Have they
Yes.
done it?
They did it if they were both in a 4-way.
Yeah.
Stand and deliver. Yeah.
Either way, they don't want to do it too often if they've not done it, you know? And then immediately, pretty much the next NXT, she gets called the most beatable WWE champion, NXT Women's Champion ever.
Literally, women emerge from every crevice of the building
To say, you.
And that builds the Blake Monroe appearing on a platform.
Yes.
Me, actually.
Now, the twist is, it's like a better version of what they were kind of half going for with Jey Uso in terms of pure booking, is she has got inbuilt drama in her matches because you simply can't imagine her reigning for as long as what? Asuka, as an example. But it's like, oh, she's not that beatable after all, because what's happened with this finish is that Blake Monroe has spotted Jordynne Grace as the number one threat to the title. I'll get in her head. I will pretend to befriend her. I will lull her into a false sense of security. I will turn on her. I'm a wrestling heel. That's kind of what we do. And then we'll have a grudge rivalry. And then once I've won that, I've got a clear path to the title. In the meantime, JC Jane's wrestling and acting the part. And she's not beatable. And even if she is, she's still beatable, really. You don't expect her to have the Asuka reign, but she's not beating Jordynne Grace for nothing. You know what I mean? There's going to be an inbuilt tension to every defense.
I love this because I had a slightly different read on it, but then that probably speaks to a job being well done by Radham Badham himself here. I took it as Blake Monroe identifies that JC Jane is so beatable that it's a matter of time before Jordynne Grace becomes champion, and Blake Monroe doesn't want any of that smoke. So she instead links up with Jordynne Grace in order to be put in a position where she can pin JC Jane, and does at the Great American Bash, basically by being Jordynne Grace's partner.
Yeah.
So now all she has to do is cost Jordynne Grace, and then her route is clear. She beats somebody she's already pinned. Like, she's now going to... Jordynne Grace is going to want the blood feud, but the idea is, no, thank you, I want my title shot now.
Yeah, which is not happening because they're both heels, but in her head,
she's
the character's
thinking,
head.
I'm going right the way to the tap, baby, and now that's like the Jordynne Grace thing. I thought I dealt with you, and now I have to fight you. What's this? Like, Ava, she hasn't got a surname, she's Rock Daughter, and the general manager of NXT, and was...
She being Rock Daughter.
The massive response she got on this show, obviously when she was pictured in attendance, will have quite the mess to clear up here, I would say, on Tuesday night. Check out the NXT preview for more.
Indeed. Indeed. I was going to say one more thing. Turning Blake Monroe. It's weird. I never saw this finish coming, even though it'd been like literally reported. We aggregated it. Oh, yeah, they're going to turn her heel.
Yeah.
Last week it was, in fact.
Yeah.
I think, like, good. She's radiates heel energy.
Yeah.
She had that, oh, it's a star, and Tony fumbled the star. All right, what else you got? I'm bored of Tony fumbled. She has to be a heel. She's a born heel.
Where she should be, actually. Speaking of heels and baby faces, what followed next, I think I might have to watch again to make sure that it wasn't middle of the night delirium. It was the Fatal 4-Way for the women's tag team titles. It was Roxanne Perez and Raquel Rodriguez of the Judgment Day against the Kabuki Warriors, against NXT's Sol Ruka and Zarya, and Alexa Bliss and Charlotte Flair.
The Mega Powers.
In the act that appears to have re-established Charlotte Flair as the most over baby face in the company. Let's go back a little bit. What's happened in the last 7 days that I'm aware of? Here we go. The Charlotte Flair Alexa Bliss thing, cutesy at best. A couple of gags on SmackDown. Not bad, but ultimately what's powering it is their collected tenure on them.
Let's call it star power as well.
Star power, but like it's... Then, like, not a lot is happening, and it's the tag team is almost an acknowledgement of that. It's like, should we do this for a bit? I got no belt to do.
Is this anything?
100%. Is this anything? Like, I think the T-shirt that WWE released says, like, allies of convenience or something. We're not friends, you know, all that. And it's been awkward, but they're like, oh, fine, we'll make it work. And it's been bubbling on SmackDown, but I wouldn't say it's been bubbling over or anything. It's just they're stars, as you say. What's the timeline? Because I feel like it's all related. Then... Charlotte Flair does a new article for the Players Tribune, which is like, it's kind of a recommended read. I wouldn't, like, it's more of a diary format thing. She recalls a few things. It's very heartfelt. But it's sort of semi-autobiographical type thing, you know, over the last few years. And then there's a viral clip of her joking about The Undertaker having a small dick and how like tiny coffins would cover his, if he did the body issue of PWI, and then he goes in about, there'll be big coffins. It's brilliant, you gotta see it.
Big coffins for big takes, big house.
It's a massive coffin and it ain't made of plastic. I need one of Yoko's coffins to cover my big bale.
It's big. I says to Michelle, I says, hey, do you want to ride on my big hog? And she went, I thought your titan back was in the shop. I was actually talking about my dick. She found it really funny.
She said, nice try, big man, but I don't sleep with men with penises that small. Oh, God.
I said the quiet part. It's big.
It's big. Rest in penis.
It's big. It's growing, not a showing now. It's all about the number of folds.
So I don't know if Charlotte Flair joking about The Undertaker's dong is or if it's a combination of the above, or if it's just this Alexa Bliss Charlotte thing is really connected with, again, a crowd that was just super invested in everybody on the show. But it is clear from their entrance that they are the team that the fans are desperate to watch. They do a pretty cool bit where it's that Saturday night's main event aisle from the night before. So Charlotte,
of course it is.
Every time
build them a set, you cheap bastards. If for the optics, if nothing else, even if you couldn't care less.
Yeah.
For the optics.
I don't get that. They've got to do it with work, because God forbid you get any bells and whistles.
Yeah.
They did have chief analyst Stephanie McMahon chipping in with some comments on the matches in between. So let's not pretend there weren't some bells and whistles. The inventor of women, of course.
Of women.
So yeah, Charlotte is
Eve herself.
Charlotte was doing the pose in the ramp purposely to get like a peacock feathers or whatever in Alexa Bliss' face, and Alexa just like lobbed Lily at Charlotte. Don't away from me. Yeah, cooking something up. The match is not dissimilar to the opener, if not quite as fluid in execution. It is constant action, constant movement. There's no psychology to it. It's fine. It's just a fine match where everybody gets summoned, right? But it really comes to life when Charlotte Flair gets a hot tag to an insane degree. I know this sounds Dr. Fetty. I welcome people to go and watch this because I can scarcely believe it myself.
Right. I need to say something here. On Tuesday, last week's Raw review, Michael Hamflett said quite possibly the most insane thing I might have ever heard. Not just in this studio, but just in general.
In life.
In life. A salvage job for the ages. I don't even think WWE Gareth would have described Kairi Sane versus Roxanne Perez with such hyperbole. It was a nightmare of a match that got less messed up as it went on. That's it.
It got all right by the end.
No. I wasn't doing it just to say that.
Okay, right.
I was like saying, so you might think
I see, yeah.
He's lost all credibility and indeed his mind.
Joke's on you, never had it. So
Charlotte Flair, Charlotte Flair, the not particularly over babyface this year, the wrestler who seemed like they didn't belong no more, was really over as a babyface. Yeah, it's one of those, right, where it was hard not to be like, if you got a shred of empathy, hard not to be moved to a degree by the Players Tribune piece.
Yeah.
Did she? I haven't read the whole thing. Have you read the whole thing?
Yeah.
Did she mention the Players Tribute piece that she wrote? I completely ate Tiffany Stratton alive the week before that promo. I ate her alive for fun,
it was
for sport.
Yeah, it was all about, I didn't see that coming.
I mean, come on.
Yeah.
I don't want anyone to have a significant mental health crisis. Well, some people obviously, but not Charlotte Flair. Evil world leaders and the like.
Yeah.
Of CM Punk. It's a joke. A joke to make my friend laugh. You gotta laugh.
CM Punk.
You've gotta laugh.
Sorry, it reminded me of the Hogan in the watch hunt. What you gonna do? Nice one, Terry. Thick idiot.
Did she say, but I ate her alive, and I'm not necessarily just this victim?
No, it was just about the
of course.
Line, yeah.
Right. So I am a little bit less good for Charlotte Flair. Isn't this nice for her? Because, come on, you You get what you put into things sometimes. You know?
She knows.
She must. But this was remarkable. So realistically, it was quite nice. Just because I think the whole overstated, it's terrible to be mean, blah, blah, blah. Bringing on some of it yourself, quite frankly. Yeah, and I'm going to stick my head above the parapet. But at the same time, I don't want anyone to go through a terrible time. And this must be nice for her. Because she's better, I will say, she's way better than the reception she's been afforded this year. Not at her best in the ring, but I always feel like, I mean, come on, she's a bit cold on TV, but look at some of the matches she's had. Jesus Christ.
It is weird that this is, again, probably institutionally sexist, that the Roman Reigns...
Again.
The Roman Reigns comparison was apt, right? Back in the day, the female Roman Reigns, these were these two very, very forced projects of Vince McMahon that we were just like required to endure no matter if the work was good or not, really. It almost didn't matter because it was like, well, I know what this is and I don't really want to be force-fed it over and over and over again. Then Roman Reigns finally clicks and a lot of that is erased and it's like, right, I care about Roman Reigns from now, 2020. Rest of it was just a false start, whatever. Charlotte Flair was never really...
She liked his in-ring work before that, but carry on.
Exactly, right? Charlotte Flair was never really afforded that, was she?
Nah.
She just has to carry on and like sludge through it and whatever, and that's never really changed. What I loved about this, wrestling has a funny way of like, when you're hot, and when you're not, and when you're up, and so on and so on. There's a lot of like serendipity in wrestling, I think. And this reaction, from my standpoint here in this match, could not have been foreseen. And yet, the section at which Charlotte Flair was in couldn't have served it better for trying. So there's been quite a lot of action, and it's been Charlotte Flair that's been on the apron while Alexa, her partner, has taken a lot of the grief, or there's been other wrestlers in, basically, and Charlotte can't get the tag. And the fans are desperate for Charlotte Flair. So it's about 3/4 of the way through. And it's only like 10 minutes, this. Again, it feels more like a sprint because there's so many moving parts.
Refreshing.
Yeah.
And I know that's a low bar because there's so much excess and like so much of everything in pro wrestling. This probably stands alone, though.
I think this massively benefited from it feeling like most of the wrestlers had never interacted before.
Yeah.
Outside of Asuka, Charlotte, and Alexa Bliss, this is like, her with her and her with her. There was a lot of that in this, and that really helped. So by the time Charlotte gets in, you've seen virtually everybody else interact with everybody else, and now Charlotte's there, not just as a hot tag, but there to save Alexa Bliss, which feels like...
There was a very WWE moment in this match that I hated.
Okay, I think I might know, but
yeah,
it's sort of like a closing stretch, effectively, from here. It's a really quality hot tag. Everyone's bumping feet, and she's like firing off her chops and hitting everyone that moves, that kind of thing. She suddenly looks like so much bigger than everybody else. It's that Charlotte Flair aura, you know. So she's cleaning house. I think Asuka gets in at one point, so you get a bit of like sort of we've been up and down the roads, me and you, with her and Charlotte, and then like Asuka powers out for a little bit. Zarya gets back in. Unfortunately, drills Sol Ruka with a spear after Sol Ruka's hit Charlotte Flair, the best possible person to hit with a Soul Snatcher. Not what like we thought, they're going to do another impressive Soul Snatcher. It wasn't what she was doing, it was who she was doing it to.
Yeah.
She's just drilled Charlotte. That's massive.
Yeah, the bump wasn't amazing.
No, but and you wonder, but like nonetheless,
you always wonder.
You always got to wonder. But like she's taken out Charlotte Flair with this move.
Oh my God's children got to wonder.
On another night, does she beat Charlotte Flair? But before we get the answer to that, Zarya is speared her by accident. That continues the story that they're telling on NXT. That allows, I think it's Raquel Rodriguez, comes in, starts cleaning house, which allows Roxanne Perez to take everybody else out to the floor, and Raquel Rodriguez kind of like surveys the scene, and the only ones left is the downed Sol Ruka from the spear, and she hits her with a Tahana bomb and gets the 3. Again, like kind of wrapped in 10, and it was just sort of smart work from the champion heels. They waited for a few people to wipe each other out, like patrolled the area and got the win.
Here's something I might have conflated in my head because we watch these shows at a stupidly early
There's
time.
a Battle Royal moment that made me cringe so hard. I don't know if I've put the pieces of my body back in place yet, if that's what you're thinking of.
No, it was in this match.
Oh, God.
Tell me that, though.
I will do when we get there.
I probably felt it, I just can't remember.
Yeah.
I might have conflated the Charlotte and Alexa selling the fact that they didn't win with something else. The Zarya spear, did Charlotte and Alexa kind of cradle each other in the corner as if to say, oh, that friendship's gone awry, that's sad for them?
Charlotte dove onto Alexa to push her out the way, and like Zarya took the spear, so she's basically...
But then in the corner...
And then they were, because they bundled into the corner together, and it was like, are we becoming
friends? one friendship door closes, has another one opened.
Such is life.
It was weird. Didn't like it at all. Very, very fed.
Such is life.
But this show was... Sorry, bro. This show was really good elsewhere when it wasn't feddy.
Yeah, interesting take. If it's one that requires exploring, but it's an interesting take. Another over-delivery next. All of them are over-deliveries because the build is so bad. What am I saying? Like, everything feels like...
Stephanie McMahon said this in her capacity as a platitude-uttering loser, yes.
Yeah.
She said, and they over-delivering all night tonight, guys. Don't say that, you dumb idiot.
The reasons it's true are bad.
Yeah, don't say you're over-delivering. Don't, if you want to say that, just say, I thought this would be great. I can't do a Stephanie McMahon. That's just a smile.
Thanks, Tess.
Tess. What's wrong? I'm deliriously happy. Why you ask? But why you ask, Tess? I had high expectations for this thing, but they're over-delivering even on those. She just said, I don't know, I volunteered. Oh, they're over-delivering.
Yeah.
Because the build sucked.
Ask your definite husband why he hasn't done a good job of booking this card.
Why do you say definite?
Just because I know for a fact they're definitely married.
Okay, carry on.
Happily so. Tiffany Stratton versus Trish Stratus. I could scarcely believe what I was frigging watching. Was it when Trish Stratus, in tribute to her bestie Lita for the finish, executed like a better moonsault than Lita ever did in her frigging career? Like, was it when Tiffany Stratton just busted out the end of Heartache for the crack for a 2 count in the middle, and Trish Stratus folded over her knees like... She was absolutely dead. Tiffany took the best moonsault ever onto some really stiff raised knees by Trish Stratus. They leathered each other early doors with these, like, the idea was, obviously, they were partners at Elimination Chamber. Stratus was very grateful to Tiffany Stratton for affording her the opportunity to wrestle in front of her kids, but maybe I want to win a title in front of my kids. And Tiffany on SmackDown was like, what's your career on VHS? Because obviously at like 48 now, Trish Stratus was around in the time of the dinosaurs, which doesn't really work with Trish Stratus because she ages backwards anyway.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not saying all of her work held up in that last run, far from it. Most of it didn't. But age-wise...
The cage match ruled.
The cage match was awesome. Another Becky Lynch pay-per-view opener that stole the show. But, the Trish Stratus thing doesn't necessarily hold together when so much of what makes her kind of brilliant in these flashes now was stuff she never would have had the chance to do back then when they were getting 2 minutes in, like, bra and panties matches or whatever. So yeah, they're just absolutely leathering each other once the bloom is off the rose, and I think, so we're doing this, are we? And they're just slapping each other really hard across the face. Ultimately, it goes to the point where Trish Stratus goes for the moonsault in tribute to Lita. Really quite nice, but misses. Stratton gets the knees up, and then like picks her up, just drills her with an Alabama slam, gets the prettiest moonsault. Yeah, gets the prettiest moonsault ever. I have definitely spoken past. There was the stratosphere from the apron to the floor, where like Stratton takes like a Mick Foley splat bump on the arena floor. Every time basically Trish Stratus tries to get an advantage on Tiffany, it's never really enough to keep her down, and it's almost like they're illustrating that like the youth will ultimately just trump all of these little extra things you've got in your pocket. She's just too young and strong and in a prime for you quite to get it done, Trish, but the fact that you keep trying and you're so valiant with it, you've got to go for something as big as the moonsault. It doesn't work. She loses. And again, like, it's spry 8:37. They got it all in, left it all out there, and got the hell out. Love this.
This match, much of this show, it's like just a beautifully refreshing splash of cold water. I felt invigorated by it.
Hardly any, like, this is a watchable show. This wasn't that ad break stuff that people whinge about. It was like, here comes one of the other matches. It was
like 40-minute match, 9-minute
Jelly Roll concert.
Yeah, like or like a 9-match card. Every match goes 30 minutes.
Yeah,
like this felt like just this thing that I was quite happy to watch, or really happy to watch, just in sequence. Didn't hit the highs of All In at all. I don't think one match would have been. And it's not fair because there was a lot of emotional investment in AEW's WrestleMania, so it's not apples.
Oh no, it's
not apples to oranges. Yeah. But like, there's one match that would have been the fifth match best. The opener would have been the fifth best match. Fifth bath. Definitely. Everyone knows that. I don't want to reduce it to...
Only the main event went over 20 on a 7-match main card.
Yeah. I don't want to reduce it to say it wasn't boring, which is, I guess, what, in effect, I'm half saying by going, oh, well, it didn't stay out its welcome. It was short enough. Didn't get bored. What did this match, which was 9 minutes of really bracing, stiff, competitive, like all-out action with a flair to it and a story told of, I can still hit as hard as young people do. Mm-hmm. It was like Stephanie was going, that's different. You were a diva. I might look it, but we actually hit a bit harder than you do. And Trish was like, no, I can hit you back just as hard. Mm-hmm. You felt the sense of experience and like the it
was like an indignant attitude to Trish's work.
Yeah. This is a great, neat, compact, stiff.
She was a textured wrestler
match.
In a prime, Trish Stratus.
She was.
And I think you still see flashes of that, and it's nice. Yeah. She got it then when it was a hard time
when she was barely allowed. She was barely allowed. What did this match lack that a match twice as long didn't? Nothing. Not a goddamn thing. And I don't want to make this a match length agenda. I don't want to say that, it was good because it was short and I'm, obviously jaded by wrestling a lot of the time. This is great on its own terms, but I'm still asking the question. So many matches that go 60. What am I getting that you couldn't do with this? Like, what? It's not a rhetorical question.
No, I totally agree. Yeah. It was constantly refreshing, this card, because there was so many examples of it, one after another. And it's funny, isn't it? Like, they don't book, WWE don't book seventh. That's one.
What is this, SummerSlam?
It's 1 or 2.
Yeah.
Like, across the Rubicon.
Yeah.
And as a result, it forced a couple of minutes off each. And what a better show
What
it
a
was.
benefit.
Like, we've been calling out for whatever this perfect middle of the AEW and WWE length or match structure, whatever. We've been kind of crying out for it for a couple of years now. I would argue this is as close as we've got to it.
Yeah.
Just in terms of quality plus, like, actual quantity of matches and runtime.
It'll never happen. And this should be... a WWE podcast. But, we all, that we talk about both companies, the two companies.
Yeah.
Surely Tony Khan, even at the high he must be riding, is like, right, well, what a great night. We celebrated, right, back to work. We should take feedback, determine what's good and bad faith, and take the good faith feedback on board. At what point is it going to go through his head? There's enough people talking about these show lengths now where I should probably do something about it. Not like, they're all 2 hours long. Let's not be a dickhead. But what can I do to stop this conversation from happening? Because it's not like, AEW's gymnastics. AEW, these are people who want to love it, who are
They're angry that their investment is being compromised by runtimes. And
Surely you look at a show like this and think, the sequencing, the shorter matches, there's got to be a way to integrate a bit of that approach.
Mm-hmm.
But,
I think so.
I mean, he's, if anything, these shows are getting longer. Like Double or Nothing was 5 hours.
Yeah.
At this rate.
We're moving up.
At this rate, Forbidden Door's going to be 7. Okay. You're going to need to flatten that curve.
Hey, so speaking about being jaded, you and Naomi, mate, because she lost the no-holds-barred match with a jaded through the table by Jade Cargill in what I think I can say is comfortably Jade Cargill's best ever WWE match.
Oh, yeah.
And up there as one of her best ever singles matches. It's not a big list, but like this was a good...
No, it's about 4 matches long.
Yeah. A really good bit of
business.
Not
as good as the Anna Jay.
No, I would say not. And Plunder for me is always one of the things where
you can't watch all and then watch this.
Nah, it's too often it's a shortcut, but especially when you have no choice but to compare. If you do watch all 2 companies, which we do, it was hard to say. There were a couple of moments. I did there was a toolbox employed in the match, and I think it was Jade in the ring just dropping it from as high as she could hold it onto the floor and hoping to land it on Naomi. That's funnier than getting a weapon out of it. That's a really heavy box full of metal. What if I get your head with this? So I quite like that. The brawl in the aisle was really strong. They had a brawl right at the start of the match to get going hot.
Sorry, I'm going to step on your dick
Okay.
and disrupt your flow. This is not the second time they've had a brawl this weekend.
Yeah, it's the second time, yeah. They had a brawl at Saturday Night's Main Event.
How is Jade Cargill so good at brawling?
Yeah.
When she has...
They beat the dog out of each other, these two, when they're out there just fighting. Yeah.
It's thrilling.
Mm-hmm.
Almost.
Yeah.
Almost just
feels
bleed
real,
noise.
doesn't it? Like,
Could she not just like be 98 Steve Austin?
yeah, maybe.
I'm not taking the piss.
That
This
was
is
the
the
formula,
thing.
though.
If there's a wrestling style, if there's any such thing as wrestling style anymore, like John Moxley's the best brawler on the face of the earth by miles and miles. Even he does a suicide dive.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Everyone does at least one thing that they shouldn't do because the hybrid style mind disease is completely mind virus. It's
hybrid mind virus.
The hybrid mind virus has taken over wrestling.
Like an NXT stable.
It does. I
Sean Spears' next gimmick.
I bloody have to now. That was Shawn Michaels. The hybrid mind virus has taken over to such an extent that even a John Moxley will treat himself to a suicide dive. CM Punk, purist, will treat himself to a suicide dive. He himself knows.
Injured himself on one.
Yes!
Yeah.
He himself knows he sucks at it, or he's not as good as the best person, because when he was bigging up Darby Allin, as he should have, ahead of the All Out 2021 match, he's like, I watched Darby Allin do that suicide dive, and he said every wrestler should retire them and just let him do it. Not me. Not Philip. All the other ones I meant. They are all at it. If there was such a thing as just, oh no, I do this and I don't do anything else. I imagine Austin like busting out a suicide dive in 98. It just wouldn't scan true. There's something's missing. Discipline is the way back.
Austin lifted the $1 Million Dream, his first finisher, out of his own arsenal.
Yeah.
For the bulk of his babyface run.
Absolutely.
Because it wouldn't have made sense.
Yes.
Like that was,
Like, just, Jade Cargill should be a brawler. It's the one thing she's great at.
She was great here, and I think that's one of the reasons why this match shone in the way it did. I will give them credit. I am a harsh marker when it comes to plunder, because even the good ones, I feel like everything is mostly in service of setting up the next thing. And I thought a lot of this was just quite well thought through. It's not just a wrestler reaching under and grabbing a kendo stick. So, for example, this toolbox does come out, and it's like quite a funny way to see it get used. It misses, but ultimately the toolbox has got like a chain inside, and they're working over each other for a chain for a bit. And again, it just sort of feels relatively authentic, and to use the word from earlier on, a bit opportunistic. Oh, I've got that, and I can use it. And what they for WWE are like remarkably understated until the finish. But I was enjoying like looking at Bianca Belair's reactions to the escalating violence, and she just looked sad.
She was the special guest referee, guys.
She just looked a bit sad that it had come to this between her mates, and she wasn't exactly endorsing Jade Cargill's enacting of violence. There's a point where like, and it normally we played for laughs in a comedy, in a plunder match, but like Jade Cargill puts the bin on Naomi's head, then waits for Naomi to stand up and hits the pump kick to the bin. Looks really cool. And Bianca's just like, I mean, that's maybe a step too far. That you could just beat her at this point, but that's kind of a bit cruel. And so the match plays out anyway. There's loads more brawling on the floor. They brawl by the announce table, where like the front of it is now like hours below, like a screen. And I think it's is it Jade that just goes like hard into that. And there's a bit of like smoke and nonsense and prop stuff.
It looked awful.
Like, which kind of, I think
undermined it.
Does them a disservice. Yeah, I totally agree, because it looked pretty violent before that. For the most part, though, like apart from when it's like a splat table collapse thing, they're quite disciplined with those big tables thus far. And I thought it would have been better just to be like, ow, that looked like a knack. You know, like Punk going through the all-in-one at Wembley.
Yes.
Just like looked like it hurt, didn't it? And just leave it at that. Anyway, they end up back in the ring. There's a table set up. There's one point where like Naomi's like sees an opportunity. The table's upturned, and she tries to like force Jade Cargill's eye into the point of the table. Like the fans are really with Jade Cargill, and it's a love to hate thing, but they're loving hating Naomi. She is at long last getting proper heat, despite the character being
what passes for it.
What passes for it is a little bit of a kind of cartoonish heel, but again, this will factor in later on, I guess. And they've both just beat the hell out of each other. I think it's Naomi gets the X Factor onto Jade Cargill. That gets a really, really sort of believable near fall 2.999. Jade Cargill's able to fight back as Naomi's setting up the table. They end up on the top rope, and Jade Cargill hits Naomi with the Jaded through the table. That's 1, 2, 3. Naomi is finally beaten. Jade Cargill gets her arms raised by Bianca Belair, who again looks a little bit disappointed that this is how all of this has happened. Jade Cargill will go off to SummerSlam, obviously to compete for the, as of right now at least, the WWE title held by Tiffany Stratton, and we'll get to later on what happens with Naomi.
Yes. Here's the thing with this match, right? There's two ways of looking at it, and I always say people just looking at nobody in particular dead in the eyes should be holding WWE to a higher standard. They have got more money, more resources. Vince is gone. Kind of do whatever you want at this point, within reason, within sponsor guidelines, to just not do slop crap. But at the same time, I know that they don't like to do blood. They've got good business reasons for it. So I often find myself, I never feel anything for WWE plunder matches in recent years. PG era. PG, what about ruthless aggression? Huh? I just don't. I lower my own standards when looking at these matches. Are they creative? Are they being assembled well? How contrived are they? Because I don't feel anything for them. But there is an art to doing it, I guess, that I should potentially credit. This reminded me, in terms of my exact, I did like the Silvio or Rizzo face watching this of, good job for your audience. And feel no violence, really. No real hatred. And especially after the All-In main event, you just simply cannot, if you watch both companies, like some of us, you cannot watch it in the same way.
They were punching with a chain, so it even created an inadvertent like for like.
Yeah. They are exercises in flow and creativity more than they are emulations of pro wrestling violence and hatred. As far as this lowered standard goes, really good job. Really good job. Especially, no offense, I think she's really nice since Jade was involved. Especially impressive since Jade was involved.
Yeah.
Those are the limits of my thoughts, bro.
They're trying, I think, it's not unfair at this point with Jade Cargill to, they are really, really pushing the, it's still good, aren't they? She can have one match of this standard and make you think, all right, then. Yeah. That gets us to SummerSlam. Let's see how the Tiffany match is. She might win the belt, and then it's all right, then. Let's see how good the next match is. But it's always on that tightrope. Yeah. You could fall off in the next match.
I had the same thoughts as Ria of, you know what? You're completely hamstrung. Almost feel sorry for you having to do this match, match type in WWE. How creative? How much can it flow? Can you tell a decent story? Despite the fact that I am in no way moved by the violence, which should be the point. It should be, realistically. Commendable creative job, well done.
That's a great example, because that was just weeks ago, and they happen all the bloody time.
Yeah, I know.
Loads of them all the time.
There's loads of them.
Constantly competing with last week's version of the same match sort of thing. Again, over-delivery, I think, not without some things that we can have a bit of fun taking the piss out of. Battle Royal for the world title shot at Clash in Paris.
This was a glorious time for me in my life, because guess what I did?
What did you do?
When I watched it on delay. Save 10 minutes of time.
No, Sidge, man, that's one of the best bits. You got all of the wrestlers' entrances as a way to, give them a nice moment.
Who's this one? Oh, right, okay, same entrance I see all the time, or rather don't see. Maybe the entrances have got goated, and I've just been skipping for so long that I don't know.
I mean, luckily for you, it's the Def Rebel era, so not really.
Yeah, of course not.
One in every 9. There's a bunch of...
I have to tell a story on the way to the ring, Sidge. Yeah, I'm sure B-Fab, Jake the Snake Roberts with the...
Well, it's funny. It's funny you mention that. Obviously, tiny bit of stage with which hit a pause, and then as they were getting towards the end of the aisle, the next wrestler's music would start. So all of them would say, throw away the hat, or throw away the glasses or whatever, and slap fives and stuff. But then what you were noticing was that there appeared to be sort of a half-emptied wardrobe of things and props as more. Yeah. When Brett walks through the glass, imagine I need the stuff out of the way version of that.
Yeah.
Kick some glasses out of the way, a hat out of the way. There's a bunch of NXT wrestlers in this. We should point out, actually, there was plenty of legends paid tribute to across the evening, the usual thing where they just sit people in the front row and that. No surprises.
Jacqueline was there. Ivory.
No surprises. No Paige, who was named by Brian Alvarez as a possible return. And it wasn't advertised, but there was suggestions that it was going to be surprised in the Battle Royal. We didn't get anybody. There was just everybody that had already been announced. Nikki Bella got a massive reaction. Stephanie Vaquer got a huge reaction. Nia Jax just remains believable in this Battle Royal setting. Some of the NXT wrestlers, not much for them on the entrance, but then a lot more in the match. So I guess that's a victory for the agent, I suppose. Julia had one of her kind of better nights. She's coming out as United States champion now. Battle Royals play out as they do, so I'll try and get a couple of headlines. Nia Jax is
skip to the end,
throwing out a bunch of.
I like the end.
There's a few bits I quite enjoyed. Nia Jax is throwing out a bunch of NXT wrestlers, and she arrives at Kalani Jordynne, who gets thrown over the top rope. But she gets thrown onto two of the wrestlers that have just been eliminated, I think Tatum Paxley and one of the other NXT wrestlers, and lands on the announce table and does the walking on her hands back into the ring, clips her feet under the bottom rope, and then reverse skins the cat. It looked pretty cool.
Yeah.
It got big reaction as well. It's a cool visual. The Kofi Kingston play, but a good one nonetheless. You had Stephanie Vaquer and Julia briefly reuniting to get a couple of eliminations, but then taking center stage in the ring to fight. That got a big response as well. Zelina Vega and Julia, this was one of the things where, when a wrestler's only in a rivalry in their own head rather than in anybody's interest. Like Sean Stasiak versus the WWF roster circa 2001.
Yeah.
It's kind of Zelina Vega and Julia. But Zelina Vega was super interested, so they had quite a few little heated exchanges at various points that ultimately led to Zelina's elimination. There was a point where Stephanie Vaquer and Nikki Bella had an interaction, which was Nikki Bella seems back, and based on his performance, she's going to stick around. But it did have a clash of ages thing about it, and it looks like Stephanie Vaquer is about to get the devil's kiss on Nikki Bella. Chelsea Green, just to be a bastard, breaks it up for absolutely enormous heat.
The perfect person to do it,
and they pay it off later in the match when it's Chelsea that gets it once the Secret Service have been dealt with, and she gets eliminated off the back of that. There's a really cool bit where the ring sort of the remaining wrestlers part ways, and Lash Legend and Zelina Vega find themselves in the middle, and it's Great Khali and Rey Mysterio. The size difference is absolutely enormous. Lash Legend as well gets a few eliminations and gets this bit of a standout thing. We ultimately end out with the final three of Stephanie Vaquer, Lash Legend, and Nia Jax, because Nia Jax is able to eliminate Nikki Bella, and ultimately they two combined to get rid of Nia Jax until you're down to Stephanie Vaquer and Lash Legend. The idea being, yes, Stephanie's on the main roster, but they're virtually similar experience level. They do a elimination tease spot where Stephanie Vaquer had a head scissors on Lash. Lash tries to carry her over to the apron. They both end up on the apron with Stephanie Vaquer kind of fortuitously in the devil's kiss position, hits her 10 times, and that knocks Lash out enough to just roll at the floor. Stephanie Vaquer gets the win, gets a little hair ruffle off Stephanie McMahon, which I learned Spanish for you. Okay? Did I do good? And then, but we've seen this enough. We know this is one of them WWE tests, and you felt like Stephanie Vaquer was in the middle of passing a test. Whatever. She's got the title shot of Clash in Paris.
You have impressed me.
Yeah. You've charmed me. Well, yeah, because she's a million times better than you ever were. And then I have to go back to, so I think just the bandwagon for Stephanie Vaquer keeps rolling. I think she's a Royal Rumble winner, WrestleMania title match.
Rolling the river.
In the making. But I need, Sidge, your thoughts on a spot in this match where...
Did I skip this?
I hope you didn't. God damn, I hope you didn't, because I'm going to have to show you when we get back in the office. So Maxine Dupree does her worm and hasn't really left the space. So has to worm on the spot. Right?
I must have skipped it.
Right, so this all of this happens, right? She has to worm. I enjoy this battle royal, and we're having fun. Worms on the spot and gets the, I forget the victim to her. She stands up, and then
victims.
Tally is you doing the worm, aren't we? A tag team. And then I think Maxine in her mind thinks that this is a catchphrase that we all know and love, and everybody's saying it, but she kind of tees it up as if it's sort of, and that's the bottom line, you know. Do the worm, right?
I genuinely must have.
So Natalia,
how have I not seen this?
Tries to do the worm, and again makes the exact same mistake as Maxine Dupree.
They're doing a battle royal,
doesn't leave enough room. It's just kind of worm on the spot, and then
worming out,
and then she gets eliminated. Can't remember who it's by. It doesn't matter. Might have been Lola Vice. She gets thrown out, and Natalia's like, "What? I've been eliminated. Me, Natalia." And then
on the boat,
back in the ring, Maxine Dupree, to express grief at this, is you're making me so mad. She's just her face sort of shakes and quivers with anger, and I think she gets her ass kicked and thrown out. It's real bad.
If you don't have time tonight after the pod, show me tomorrow.
Okay.
You
need to see this. You need to see this.
Was it when the field was properly? It must have been for the if you were worming out.
Yeah, the worming out. You need a busy ring to worm out.
I think what happened here, because I would have, like an attack dog, buried that.
Candice LeRae gets thrown out, and Michael Cole calls her Candice Michelle, and then Wade is giving him some grief, and you can tell in the air it's like, that's not a name, Cole. And then like later on, some other stuff happens, and he does it again. You said it again. Like, calls her Candice Michelle twice. It's not a name. It's a different Candice.
Can't get Candice Michelle off his mind, huh?
This is I mean, the worst thing is
neither can Wilborn.
It's just, you know, like we all do this from time to time, but it's just like that absolutely pig Vinceism about like two people with the same name. I do not think so.
Yeah.
Steve Regal, they'll confuse you with Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Yeah,
Let's
yeah,
call
yeah.
you William. And then this happens, and you're like, that's why he did it.
Yeah.
He worked with enough thick idiots that they would do it on the reg. Yeah.
I will say, during the first half of this battle royal, I was like, well, nothing happens in these. Put it on the counter while I had some coffee, which, because I'm a complete prick who grinds his own beans in the morning. You have to scoop your beans, grind your beans, brew your beans. My recipe now goes 4 minutes, my preferred recipe. It takes us ages to make a simple cup of coffee.
Did I just hear my brew go 4 minutes?
Yeah, something like that. So
4 minute morning.
I kind of had one eye on my coffee. I guess the flavor notes, the 3 flavor notes for the coffee that I'm currently quaffing.
Berries.
No, but that is quite a common one.
Candy floss.
No, but I had a candy floss grape-ish one the other day, the other week, and that was nice.
One more guess.
There's 3. If you get one, you get a prize.
Nutmeg.
No, I don't like spiced chocolate nut stuff. I like my
fruit.
Candied peach.
I was going to go with like a peach or pear was going to be my next guess. Yeah.
Candied peach, butterscotch, and papaya.
All in the same cup? I thought we were talking coffee's, not cocktails or something.
It's just a guide for the type of flavor. Not like, oh, you can really taste. No, you can't. You're lying. It's like more of it's redolent of this.
My memories of butterscotch.
Yes.
Butterscotch is one of them ones for me where I'd rather the smell than the taste, I think. I like the smell of butterscotch, but I don't necessarily...
Where there's original.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like, you know, you sometimes get like butterscotch sauce on like your ice cream or something, or like butterscotch cheesecakes and things, just like of that nature. Yeah. The smell is great. The taste never quite lives up to the...
it's just a nice sort of like...
smoky toffee kind of flavour.
Sweety, desserty kind of. Lovely. From the roaster based in the UK, is either called Way or UE, and they just haven't... Or they've lowercased.
Yeah.
Something. I don't know, basically it's got knee SEO. Knee SEO.
I'm not going to with that bloody name, is he?
No. And I found out...
tweet him about him, I suppose.
I found out... what are you on about?
Just because the 2 lowercase letters.
Oh, right, okay, I'm with you. I only found out about them from it's just the only time I will even entertain Reddit.
Coffee Reddit.
Just for the odd, like, oh, I've just got a bag of beans from this roaster. It's nice. And but it's just for research purposes only. And they're not as moronic as the wrestling fans on there.
I like a butterscotch hazelnut when I'm watching London and Kendrick's Velocity run myself.
Aye. Oh, God. Akio, man, he was absolutely better. So, yeah, I was doing that instead of watching Maxine worm out.
I'll show you the worming out when we get back to the office. Main event time of Evolution.
Gotta say,
yes,
I liked Lash Legend getting a bit of profile.
Yeah.
We're pretty much ahead of that curve.
A proper, like, dyed-in-the-wool developmental prospect they can be proud of. Ground-up project.
She was worthless. Everyone's...
NIL, right? You're coming in, you've never wrestled in your life, you come from a different discipline. And
particularly one of the most embarrassing worthless wrestlers ever, who's just had 4 matches. Just genuinely getting class.
Talent finds a way.
Yes.
Iyo Sky defending the Women's World Championship against Ria Ripley. I don't think it's over or under. I just think it delivered, and I like the finish. So the whole deal is Ria can't
People are
beat...
talking about this like it's the match of a lifetime.
What? Anyway, it was good. It was really good. Ria can't beat Iyo. And that is the core tenet that basically serves as the first half of this match. Iyo Sky has got offense for days. And watching this, you are reminded, like, you're one to pick up on the stuff that more people should pick up on when it comes to criticising WWE. But I think collectively we've all been like, the booking of Iyo Sky is absolute crap.
It was ace.
Because what are we doing seeing a match of this quality and not
it
seeing
was ace.
like twice a month, for example? Where's the TV title defenses? Where's the mini programs in between the big stuff? She's just simply not working. She's not wrestling. And this is what happens when she does. Like, shit, the execution on this stuff was unbelievable. There's like a couple of Asai moonsaults. Like, there's Iyo Sky. Could she be the best? Could she be the best wrestler? And then she'll go away again. And you don't get to have that conversation to the next PLE or whatever.
Or 3 PLEs from now.
Yeah. And Ria Ripley, meanwhile, has obviously got all the strength and all the counter game and all that sort of stuff. But it's never quite enough. Like, Io's got the counter for Ria's counter, and she's able to like sort of circumvent her strength with just how quick she is. Loads of really great agility. So then Ria decides, right, I'll slow it down, kid. She's like driving it down with the body. Says, she's like, I'm going to beat you. This is going to be a war of attrition. If I can catch you once, I've got you, and then I'll just grind you down, I'll power you down and beat you. She kind of takes the situational heel role within the match, not by cheating, but just sort of dominating in long stretches where she's got Iyo seemingly beat. Lots of power stuff. But Iyo Sky's able to power back, and then we head into what we think feels like the finishing stretch, basically. They're hitting loads of the big moves. Iyo Sky gets a cracking 2 counter for Poison Rana that looks awesome.
Oh, aye.
So like Ria's like, you saw like that long body that she's got for big moves like
Ria's great at not taking that bump particularly well.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean?
It's a crumple, isn't it?
It's a crumple.
Yeah. And that, like, obviously appears to sort of like give Iyo Sky the advantage. She's flying back up top again. But like Ria Ripley's always able to just pick herself up and counter until she counters in a pretty big way. She borrows Damien Priest's Razor's Edge. Like, that's another pretty amazing.
Oh, that looked terrifying, that bump.
Like,
terrifyingly awesome.
Io's coming down from like 100 foot in the air, and again, she's another one. It's that like, you could hear JR's correct commentary as like Iyo hit the ground. Can still only get 2. It's another hot 2 count there. Ria Ripley's trying to go for the Riptide, but Iyo Sky's able to counter into a sleeper hold. At this point, they're like backing each other off into the corner. They're just trying to break. And then it ends up with Ria sort of staggering in the ring, and Iyo goes up for the missile dropkick. Ria moves out the way, and Iyo absolutely drills Jessica Carr with this missile dropkick, sends her cascading out to the floor. And then in the moment before she realizes the referee's down and out, Ria sees her opportunity because she's dodged, hits the Riptide. 1, 2, 3, 4. There's nobody there to count. She's got a beat, but the referee's out. So she goes and investigates the situation. And ultimately, rather than another referee coming down and us just cracking on with the match, this results in the two of them brawling out into the crowd. They like basically fight amongst the fans until they make it to one of those little fire exit bits, and there's a bunch of storage crates. It's all in service basically of Iyo Sky doing this quite like high leap off some balcony and some
looks
crates.
awesome.
Looks great. Like there's a lot of hang time. She's like in the air for a while. It looks pretty cool. You get all the replays and stuff. She's taken Ria down, and now it's just a case of getting them back to the ring. They make it back to the ring, but again, it's that sort of thing where it's just nip and tuck. Ria Ripley, now more tired than she was before, hasn't quite got the energy, but she's trying to lift Iyo Sky up and just do anything to like drag her up just to slam her down again, but it's still no good because the referee's out at the last minute. Iyo Sky is able to hit the over the moonsault, and the referee magically comes back to life. It's 1, 2. Ria Ripley kicks out. I don't think anybody in the building saw that because it looked like Iyo was going to like take advantage of the situation when Ria had previously had a beat. At this point, I can't remember if there was another thing that brought them to a double down or if they were both just selling, but they were both out. And then Naomi's music hits, and everybody realizes what's going on. She runs out. She's got a briefcase with her. She's brought her own referee with her. She gives the briefcase initially over to Alicia Taylor to say she's cashing in, but then once Alicia Taylor said she's cashing in, she takes the briefcase back. She smashes Iyo Sky in the face with the briefcase, runs in at the ring, disposes of Ria Ripley, hits the split leg moonsault on Iyo Sky. 1, 2, 3. Naomi is the not WWE Women's Champion on SmackDown, but the Raw World Women's Champion as the show goes off the air with Naomi as the new champion.
Total shocker.
Yeah.
I just expected her to be doing stuff with, the people on SmackDown.
So, like, SmackDown is not the sort of podcast where we do the sort of indulgent self-service stuff, like talking coffee. But on that wrestling podcast we do, I predicted that this would happen on this show, but it would be Tiffany.
If you're going to accuse me of that, I would say your crackers
That's good stuff. Tune in next week's SmackDown to find out why. I need to get a new pack, by the way, so we can try that again.
We're going to do it together, aren't we?
Yeah. I thought it'd be on Tiffany because I thought what they were going to do was the Chris Jericho Unforgiven thing. Jade's like, finally, the feud is over.
Yeah.
And then he'd run it back at SummerSlam. Now, makes you wonder if Jade wins at SummerSlam and then they're heading into Crown Jewel and it's once again Jade versus Naomi for the big
It'd be nice
belt.
if they had a plan for that one.
And Bianca's like, how the frig this happened? How the frig are the other two big three the champions and I'm stuck on the outside? But yeah, Naomi world champion, presumably at least on Raw for the SummerSlam build. Maybe this gets run back as a three-way. Don't know.
I mean, I don't know what's going on there. No, not that bothered. This match, it's one of those where I'm such an arsehole, I know. But it's the critic in me. I'm going to talk about the things I didn't like. Basically, take away this very, very, very good match. Here's what prevented it from being great for me. And quite frankly, I've seen some hysterical praise. That's put my nose out of joint.
I liked it.
I liked it. Good.
Match.
People are going on like it's one of the best matches of the year, like a classic. Let's not be. Let's put your dicks away, okay? Put your dicks away, right? Don't get too excited. Recency bias. It's fine when I do it. Be critical in your appraisal of things, okay? I hated passionately to the point where I was just, I fucking hate this company so much. And then I was like, you're working me back into it with your demonstrably very good action. I'm paraphrasing, but at the start, they have dialogue at each other, right? I don't hate you. I respect you. That's not bad for me, is it?
Yeah.
I'm usually terrible. I don't hate you. I respect you. Usually comes out cockney like.
Brav.
Yeah, bruv. I don't hate you. I respect you.
I mean, that's more Bristol.
Yeah, no, it's gone worse. It's gone worse. I can't do accents.
No,
I can't. That wasn't.
The no was good. The I can't was London again. I don't know how you do it.
No. That's. No.
That was sad JR.
But can you remember this bit?
Yeah.
I respect you. Mm-hmm. I respect you back.
Yes.
So let's fight. So they go, I respect you. I respect you. They're talking to each other. Well, then let's fight. Ria does the most weak attempt at a strike that is designed to be ducked. And lo and behold, Iyo ducks it. So already in this apparent 55-star masterclass, you've got absolutely horrific WWE tropey dialogue.
Tropey soapy.
Yeah, which sucks even more ass considering we saw some honest-to-God, unvarnished pro-goddamn wrestling across the show before then. But we have to WWE the main event, of course. So we do that, then there's no intent behind anything. Ria's face often gives me the ick in terms of overacting. Then the match is going at a rollicking pace and they're beating the crap out of each other and they're busting out like head drops and aerials.
They're like move chemistry.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome.
I can see why it would like fool people into going bigger because they have stuff that is particularly devastating on the other.
Yeah. Like that's the thing. I don't think they've even reached the potential of the very best match these two can have.
Because you saw the flashes in the Bianca 3-way.
Yeah, this is all a bit WWE at times. And on the subject of which, but then it goes like there's 10 minutes where it's like this is trending in an awesome direction, this. And then the bump itself is awesome, but the ref bump, I'm like, guys, we are doing come on, WWE, we are doing a babyface versus babyface match. Mm-hmm. Do we need a ref bump? Like, seriously, do we need a ref bump? If you're going to do them in every single main event, and you do, every single PLE main event there's a ref bump.
Becoming political, isn't it? It's for the visual pins and
kind
of
aye.
Standards and practice and the protection and all that stuff.
Since 2021, I've had to watch a ref bump in every single WWE PLE main event. Usually is here's the bit where the bloodline come in.
Yeah.
This was like, Ria's still great, even though she's not coming out this night as the champion, don't worry. Then I forgive it because all right, the ref's down. Let's go around the building and kick each other's ass. We're not getting counted out. So it was as a means to an end, the big spot, the big crossbody onto the concrete was pretty badass. But tropey in a WWE way that I simply cannot sanction at too many points. Otherwise, in terms of physical, breathless action, punchy, stiff, I really enjoyed it. To WWE for its own good.
A worthy main event, I thought, as well. The
sorry.
star power was apparent, and the cash-in was really well received. And
yeah. Oh, you got the spectacle. Yeah. You got everything you needed out of the main event, I guess, to make it feel like a special show.
In the aftermath, on the post-show, they showed Iyo and Ria basically picking each other up in the ring.
In the hug,
walked out arm in arm. So the idea is that they're probably looking to get the belt back because it's more an act of injustice and they want to fight again.
Oh, God, more wrestlers needing to get the belt back.
Let's hope so.
Needing to stop the people terrorizing the top of the card. God, you wouldn't see that in AEW as of 24 hours ago. We don't do that. We don't do that anymore.
Now the old game's changed over here. You've not been to Game Changer HQ lately?
No.
I'll tell you what we'll do. We'll keep this train on tracks, but we'll do a bit of a Browd Thoughts review of Saturday night's main event.
Yes, there weren't many. I mean, who could possibly go into granular detail?
There are a couple of things I'm looking forward to talking to you about, and there are a couple of things that I imagine you're looking forward to talking about. We'll start with, it's just a match, Randy Orton and Drew McIntyre, because it's a backdrop, isn't it? On SmackDown, Logan Paul was doing his thing I hate about you, Jelly Roll, is that you don't respect the business like me. You just come in here.
Logan Paul is Adam Wilborn.
You think you can just do what you bloody like because of your fame elsewhere? Well, you can't, not here. Here, this is where the best wrestle, a.k.a. me, Logan Paul. Did you get it? And Jelly Roll's like, I actually respect the business a great deal, and I also respect country music, so can you let me get on with singing my song? And ultimately, they take sides in this Randy Orton, Drew McIntyre thing. The match is whatever the hell it is. And it really doesn't matter. Orton beats him dead easy, like less than 5 minutes. And then Logan Paul comes in after the bell with an attack on Randy Orton. Jelly Roll's like, leave Randy alone, he's my friend, and pushes Logan Paul down. I was like, wow, he got Logan Paul. And then Drew McIntyre just claymores Jelly Roll. And then
he doesn't hit him.
No.
I mean, I know it's wrestling.
Yeah.
Just the illusion's poor.
And then like the idea is like, this is a transgression. Like how could you do this to Jelly? And then backstage, like Orton and Jelly Roll are there. And Jelly's like, it's okay, man. And Randy Orton's like, no, nobody does this to Jelly. You're my lifelong friend, Jelly. And
I don't think I'm ready for those. I don't think I'm ready for this, Jelly. What are the things I'm going to do to those guys?
And it's the tag match at SummerSlam. It's
very good.
It's an appeasement match, isn't it, for Drew and Randy, isn't it?
Yeah. You get your celebs, you get some PR.
Want you on MetLife, want you on like the talk shows in New York or whatever, because we're in the tri-state area.
Yeah.
That's even not what that is. And
it's 3 states.
Just do that. And then
what is a tri-state? Jersey, New York.
I think it's Jersey, New York, and Illinois. Maybe that would make sense. It's in that.
Yeah.
Like, there's not 3 states, America. There's 50. Come on. It's on your flag.
It's a 50-state area.
50-state area, if anything. It's good stuff. So yeah, Jelly Roll and Randy Orton versus Drew McIntyre and Logan Paul.
Yeah, I don't give a toss. Here's something. The only thing I vaguely remember about this match.
Sorry. He was quite over, Jelly Roll.
Oh,
it's one of the situations where I have to be like, he's not a thing here, but like, he's in the building over Jelly Roll historically.
Yeah.
Like he worked. He sung at SummerSlam last year. It's like, yeah, all right, you. And then you got tattooed face.
I like you. You're spunky.
That's weird. Like that you kind of like sing like this gentle fella with a tattooed face that's unconventional.
What are you, like in 1950s? A 1950s school teacher.
A jovial.
All these kids running around.
No.
With goddamn tattoo. These delinquents.
A jovial.
Life's changed.
Face tattooed country singer is just a bit like, oh, there's a bunch of different things. Yeah. And there he was. He was over. Anyway, he's popular, and I guess this is what it is.
The only thing I could think about when I was watching this one was just a slop backdrop to stuff. That's what it was. Orton, it's like, oh, I'm doing a limb match. Say I'm wrestler. Say I'm Sidgwick, WWE superstar. And I'm in the main event because I've obviously made it that far. Yeah. I would just go around like to all the
guys and sometimes even gals on the show. That was a Trump
post. I'm sorry, he's an idiot, but he's sometimes funny and everyone knows it. And just say, I'm working that sucker's leg in the main event. So don't touch no legs now.
Yeah.
Don't do touching there. My thing on the Superstar. Doing a bit at the start of the match about chops don't matter to me. It's like literally the one thing Goldberg could do adequately.
Yeah, I'm going to need that in the main event.
Don't do that. They did the exact same thing.
That's a good point, yeah. It's the match was just... I'm a Randy Orton guy in this run, but it was Angle.
I like the caveat. In this run.
I was in this run.
For what amounts to 4% of his career.
Yeah. Oh, God, yeah. Randy Orton, 20 years, and poof, he's finally put it all together.
Put 0.4 for the Cactus Jack.
Yeah, all right, we'll give that. Couple of moments
here and there.
We'll do the Goldberg stuff.
Here and there and 20 year.
All at the end, because it was... look, we have done a long all-in review today, which is my way. I'm a bit giddy and a bit fun-loving on this one. And I think I hope you'll appreciate the detail we go into on that one. But
there's no detail to be found here.
I held a little bit of something back, because the problem with this counter-programming thing is you have to be like, all these caveats, like you say. It's like, match of the weekend for AEW was for you. What, the main event? Hangman Page? John Moxley?
Page marks.
Tony Storm, Mercedes Money. For wrestling, we'd probably have to go with Solo Sikoa versus Jimmy Uso, because James was in the mood. Taking his big moment, doing a few dives, having a bit of fun. I thought Jimmy Uso, for some reason, just thought, shall I have my best match ever? This, by orders of magnitude, was probably Jimmy Uso's best singles match, and a gazillion light years better than the WrestleMania match against his old brother, Jey Uso. What's that about?
I don't know. Maybe he didn't want to be considered a joke no more.
Maybe. Like, Solo wins, I should point out. He does win by pin. But yeah, Jimmy Uso seems to... And this is the point, right? Like, Jimmy Uso seems to have got his number. The MFTs are out running interference. They're trying to protect Talatonga. Jacob Fatu is out after the match to try and even the odds. It appears they're setting up a 6-man with Jacob and the Usos. That's going to bring the Usos back together, and then down the line, Jacob wins the title back. I keep saying it to you. Now everybody knows where everybody's supposed to be. I quite like the clown Samoans. They're a bit of a guilty pleasure. They're rubbish. They know it. They're like there's a goon squad with no leader.
Yeah, they're like...
Goons leading goons.
It's like Honky Tonk Man got a goon squad.
Yeah.
You've undersold part of this match. And I'm sure I rewinded this. Again, I'm watching it during little pockets of time I can grab on the Sunday during the day, after and ahead of watching yet more wrestling. I'm like, hang on. To help Solo Sikoa keep enough pressure bearing down on Jimmy Uso to successfully pin him down for 3 seconds, the artist formerly known as Hikuleo, Talatonga, drives his foot and presses it on the buttocks of Solo Sikoa so he can hold him in place for the pin.
Correct. He's tall, so he's got more power in their legs. I don't know what you're getting at.
Boots his stablemate Solo Sikoa in the arse. Holo Sikoa to keep him like...
Pay that way. It's just good tactics.
It's gravity in it.
Yeah, it's just like extra power.
It's not a comedy spot.
You just did it. They don't even know. None of them know what to do, man. You got there. It's an absolute clown car. Like the MFTs turn.
What they're doing?
The MFTs turn up and they may as well be coming out of a circus tent. It's like, what's going to happen now? I love them, me. They're just.
I think I'm starting again. I like it. He put his foot in his ass.
Just like.
I love it's one of those things where it's like, I hadn't thought about that before because it's stupid. Well, it's obviously brilliant because it worked. It's like, you know what? It's like the Joey thing. It's like, have I been living with him too long? Or does that actually make a bit of sense? It's like...
The Joey special, 2 sandwiches. The Solo special, 3 Samoans. A couple of Tongans.
It's like, that's thick and clever at the same time.
Yeah. Like Roman Reigns sat home like, I don't have an era-defining title run for whatever this is.
Yeah, no. You can't argue with the results. The method is laughable and farcical and funny, but I got the results.
Yeah.
That happened, didn't it?
Definitely, yeah. Big old leg. Right. Let's have the chat here, because I'm looking at the clock. We're not going to have time to do a Raw preview today. I apologise, but we'll fold in. Basically, there's a massive gauntlet on Raw.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah. If you're watching this on Monday, you'll might have seen by now, there's a gauntlet on Raw for the number one contenders match at SummerSlam featuring, I can do this off the top of my head, CM Punk, LA Knight, Penta, Jey Uso, and Braun Breaker. And the reason I bring that up here is because LA Knight was front and centre of the graphic, and obviously it's a SummerSlam number one contenders match, and who is conspicuous by his absence in that graphic? It's Seth Rollins, because he's having a match with LA Knight, and you've probably already seen this if you're watching now, and if you're watching it on Tuesday or listen on Tuesday, you might already know the outcome. But midway through the match, Seth Rollins goes for like his kind of double moonsault gimmick. He lands on both feet squarely per the replay, but then immediately goes to the ground, clutching his knee, rolls into the corner. Paul Heyman's over there, the referee's over there, a doctor comes over and takes a look. Seth Rollins, it's that old wrestling thing, like uses his arm even in such a way that it, like obscures, if I'm looking at his camera, obscures the mouth so he's talking but you can't see what he's saying, and then he pulls himself out the corner, and LA Knight immediately gets
This is, yeah.
That's wrong. BFT, 1, 2, 3. LA Knight looks pretty cross with how it's just played out. He's not really celebrating or anything. Cuts immediately to the commentary. You don't even see Seth Rollins, like, there's no ceremony made over any of it, and it's just Michael Cole and Wade Barrett doing difficult stuff. Fightful Select and PW Insider, maybe others, but definitely I know those two off the top of my head, both said legitimate, and Rollins seen on crutches at Evolution. I think somebody added a bit of colour to that, saying, it was Triple H at the press conference saying he's going down to Birmingham, Alabama, but he wanted to see his wife wrestle at Evolution, so that's why he's here today, whatever. And that's what we know, or that's what we did know, not long before we came in to record, because I know you've got a little bit of something.
Yeah, Meltzer and Alvarez.
Well, hang on, before you'd say that, I watched this
before this potential supplementary information,
and I'm going 100% work. 100% work. Sometimes you've just seen it out. I didn't want to be Wilborn about it, and like he cries work quite a lot. Now he's the OTJ, so he'd know. But like I'm thinking this is a work. This is a work. You just have a feeling sometimes, right? I was genuinely shocked when I googled it after the fact and was like, "That's a shoot. How's that been so poorly presented as a shoot when it's clearly a work?" And then you see these reports. I'm like, "Well, guess it's." And then your report this afternoon is.
Yeah, I mean, I did the investigative report. No. I read on somewhere, maybe it was a tweet or something. So I don't know if I haven't heard the tone or whatever intonation from the horse's mouth, and it might be someone just might have made it up that they said this. But I read on Twitter or whatever, maybe even Reddit. Meltzer and Alvarez speculate that it's a cover. That he's got a very real injury, but they have shot an angle that the extent of which the severity still needs to be determined, hence why he's legitimately gone to Birmingham, Alabama, which is, was it Youngblood?
And Dr. James Andrews was the guy that used to fix them all up. Yeah. Triple H lived down there for a bit, didn't he?
Yeah.
Of course he did. I think I'll stay down here, Doc. Get myself back in the business as quick as possible.
Yeah. Who's going to run it, huh? Business isn't going to look after itself.
Between the months of May and December, we will only live in Birmingham, Alabama.
As it pertains to my quad.
As it pertains to my return, I will be the biggest babyface you ever did saw.
As it pertains to my shoulders, yes, you can balance the yellow pages on each of them.
As it pertains to my good matches, they're gone.
No, I had a joke that I can't do it.
So where?
I'm gonna pop him daft after this podcast is recorded.
Based on what we know and what we don't, what do you think? Watching it, living it.
If it wasn't Sap, who you trust, I trust implicitly. When has he ever got anything wrong?
Wait, I mean, if he's got this one wrong, what's actually happened here is that they're working the boys, and that doesn't really happen anymore, does it?
Yeah,
he's getting his information from somewhere.
And, you shouldn't do that.
Dangerous precedents.
They kind of screwed up AEW for a little while there.
Yeah. I've visualized
clean landing.
Yeah, But he did injure himself the exact same way against Jinder Mahal in that spike match that nearly kept him out of WrestleMania. I just visualize
Thing is, I know you said Paul Heyman's a terrible performer, right? Yeah. And I completely agree. I hate him. I think he's vastly overrated. If he is such a carny who has lost all semblance of sincerity and the ability to just talk in a normal way that isn't a marketing speak thing. His default, I don't think he's got a natural, oh Christ, something's gone awry here reaction in him. I reckon a national tragedy could occur and he would go, oh my God! Oh my God!
Yeah.
You know, like the worst news imaginable.
Yes.
Like something on a
global scale.
On an absolutely global, unprecedented scale, like thousands dead. And everyone else is like shell-shocked. Paul Heyman. Oh my God! So that's what he would do. So when he's acting or not acting or acting how he would in fiction, I just think he's incapable of doing anything else. You know what I mean? I don't think he's doing a bad job of selling the work.
He does it like documentaries and stuff, doesn't he?
Yeah, I don't think he's doing a bad job of selling the work. I think that's just him.
Just who he is. We'll see, I guess. I visualize this idea. So like Punk interjects in Rollins cashing in the John Cena match, and Seth Rollins goes back to the drawing board and thinks, he's always going to stop me. How do I like make him like give up worrying about Seth Rollins? I take myself out. I like take a calculated loss, a risk-free loss against LA Knight to give the impression that I
took my licks.
And then SummerSlam rips the cast off when Punk's beating Gunther. Or heroic conclusion, he's knackered. Like, my leg's fine, actually. And he wins about that. Yeah. Anyway, we'll see. We will see.
Is this anything? What is Jerry Sachs?
Is this anything here? Is Seth Rollins? We're kind of in it. But we'll see anyway. It could play out tonight on Raw as the gauntlet match. We'll see.
He could have suffered a legitimate career-ending knee injury, and we've just treated it.
Yep.
With all the seriousness of, can we make this a bit about Paul Heyman?
Working on the assumption he's injured, obviously, get well soon.
Oh, of course I mean, I had someone tweet me saying, I bet you're happy. Of course I'm not. Like, of course I'm not.
No, we're not making light of that. We're making light of Paul Heyman. He's rubbish.
I always make light of that idiot.
Right. I think I just got loads of positive stuff to say about this. World Heavyweight title match, Gunther versus Goldberg. They put all the effort into the presentation of Goldberg here. It was really lovely. Doug Dillinger was the one to knock on the door. The entourage wasn't security guards, but it was like Ernest the Cat Miller, DDP, Gage Goldberg, and select other ones, and Doug Dillinger himself. Really quite just like, even Goldberg was like, I'm a guy who really shows emotion, and I'm showing some. And you could see it was like fighting it back a bit, the emotion of it all. He comes out. And he's still got that, hey, listen, asshole.
Sometimes it's okay to cry.
Have your stinking feelings. He comes out and he has some feelings. Painful ones, that is, because early doors, like he tries to sort of use his power to take advantage, and he's like, he's I thought you'd like that. He's no selling Gunther's chops, which is pretty cool. He actually laughs in Gunther's face off one, and it's like a noisy one as well. So it's that spot kind of couldn't have gone better. But having like being able to assume the advantage early doors, they go to the floor, try this on for size. Goldberg is like lining Gunther up. He's missed one spear, but he's going to get him this second time. Gunther moves, and he bloody spears the barricade and goes right the way through it. I was like, whoa! Like, so
it was the most. I got some earnest and ironic enjoyment out of this match. He was nowhere near him.
Gunther moved about 20 minutes later. Goldberg crashed into a barricade and fell through it. And we'll be, as Saturday Night's Main Event rolls on, we come back from the commercial break.
He was nowhere near it.
Gunther's got the advantage. He's battering Goldberg. He's like, because he's taken the beating early doors when Goldberg was like no selling stuff. Gunther's like got a bit of a sweat on and his hair's a bit of a mess. And he's like, I had a bit of a fight here and I wasn't really expecting this. So he's selling this. He's like, this is taking a bit more out of me than I would like. So he goes for the knee brace and then spends about 15 careful minutes taking that off. Finally gets that off, parades it around like a trophy. He's like, hey, you stupid losers. And he's like, he's swinging it around. The referee's gone out at this point. Oh, no, it's before that. So he's like, no, the referee takes a spear, doesn't he?
Yeah.
And then he's out. So like, Gunther just like starts walloping Goldberg.
Second
with
ref
the brace.
bump in 24 hours?
Correct.
Unless there might be a third. I haven't watched the Great American Bash yet.
The second.
I don't think I ever will.
The second absolutely brutal bump for Charles Robinson.
Oh,
in a matter of weeks.
Like, you bang up for it.
He's took his licks. Gunther goes out there to the fans. He's like, I've got your stinking knee brace. Gage Goldberg like hops the rail and wants to take him on there, and then it has to be held back. Gunther's done it again. We've seen it do with the family before. He's like, got the heat. It's a real cauldron, and people want to see Goldberg get it done. And then he gets back in the ring, and Goldberg actually manages to hit a spear, and the crowd are just like, oh, Jesus Christ, he's back. Goldberg picks him up for the jackhammer, and you were watching them, and he's just see if he can do it. And he frigging gets him with a jackhammer, Sid.
I watched Gunther's head.
Oh, my God.
It almost gets squashed between Goldberg's thigh and the canvas.
And he goes down.
It almost gets popped like a zit.
And then you're kind of looking, and then another referee comes down, and it's 1, 2. Ah, Jesus, Gunther kicks out. They've actually got the crowd in. This is unbelievable. The two men are absolutely knackered. Gunther manages to lock on a sleeper, and Goldberg actually sort of fights back. Here's his last ever career comparison with Steve Austin. It kind of does have shades of Austin trying to kick out the sharpshooter the first time, but it's just not enough. Gunther's able to lock the sleeper hold on again, and Goldberg taps out. Passes out. In the sleeper. Gunther wins. Apparently, because of the Seth Rollins timing issues, we then go to a commercial break. We come back from the commercials. It says, Atlanta, home of Atlanta. And then it briefly cuts to the ring where Goldberg's like, thanks, guys. And then hard cut off the air. See you later. Thanks for your career. There's a great speech that it's worth going and watching. Goldberg loves the role that he has played as like a living superhero. Yeah. And the speech speaks that. It's worth going and having a look.
I read, and in fact, aggregated reports of this. How does this timing thing happen? So, if anything, Rollins' LA Knight probably gets cut short.
Well, so I reckon that gets cut. Maybe doesn't get cut short. The first thought was
it ain't going much longer. They just go to the finish.
Well, that's what
I've added literal. Either he's gone to the finish 2 seconds.
I tell you, Sidgy, I think the whole thing's a stinking week. And they're just saying stuff and they're feeding stuff to try and perpetuate the myth that Seth Rollins is actually here. That's what I think. But in the meantime, what I will say is that it's possible that they were told, Gunther and Goldberg were told, we're 5 minutes light and it's TV time. It's actual TV time. So find us 5 minutes. And then they kind of miscalculate perhaps. And this goes so this went like around 11 minutes.
Yeah.
And maybe it was supposed to go, say, 6, like a Goldberg match. Like it goes about 6 and instead it's gone 11. And then because they've gone too long, Goldberg's lost his style.
We're just maybe talking out of our ass.
Spitballing here.
Spitballing out of our ass.
Do you know what? I think maybe it's just because I just don't have as fond memories of the time. I think this is probably my favourite long Goldberg match ever. The pathos felt real.
I preferred Steiner and or DDP.
Steiner's the one. DDP was the one I was using as a New Blood Rising.
Steiner, what a masterpiece.
Yeah, Steiner's the one. I forgot that.
It's great. I like the Sid bloodbath as well.
Yeah.
I'm more blood guy than you.
I'm a more Sid guy, but you think it would work for us both.
Yeah.
But I was amazed at how much I enjoyed this. They got everything out of this. And I used the comparison. You came up with a phrase, and I remember we used to use it a lot. Remember in 2020, and you used the phrase game show host with Drew McIntyre. And there's always the WWE test you got to pass. And you welcome people to Monday Night Raw. Can you get a little bit silly with a celebrity? Like, can you wrestle to a decent standard? And have you got that sort of just honest to God babyface quality lurking underneath, even if you're a baddie?
Yeah.
There's various WWE game show host tests. There's a slightly different test, but it's still a test. It's the Triple H one, and it's like a bit more. There are a few different categories. I think Gunther continues to be this for WWE and Triple H, and this was another case of, my God, we can trust you. You can handle the promos. You can handle the match. You can handle both sides of being heel and babyface, the nuances, the whole deal. And the rumours today that he's going to be John Cena's last match don't surprise me at all. Yeah, because I'd be giving him as well.
They literally need and have a ring general.
Yeah.
I got a lot out of this, again, earnestly and ironically. The spear through the barricade was hilarious. What was weird is that Goldberg, you could only ever do 2 moves, really. That was the rapid. It was true. He can't play the hits. And I thought selling here was really good.
Yeah.
It was the pathos of the last time. The selling was actually strong. Had enough of the personal family stuff feeding into the story that they'd built. And you basically got a composite Goldberg performance. You got that invincible aura with the chop no sell. You got the bumbling moron who's also funny with the spear barricade.
Yeah.
You got like the shenanigans of like the flock stuff with like
Who the hell are you calling a moron?
yeah. Like that flock Ravens match, that masterpiece. Yeah. Elements of that with the outside activity in the ref bump and stuff like that. Bit of pathos, and then you got latter period. I mean, I can't not watch because someone might die. Like the Undertaker match.
Yes.
With that terrifying jackhammer. You've got, intentionally or otherwise, composite Goldberg life.
I was watching those legs on the jackhammer. Are they going to withstand this?
Yeah.
Like, it was pretty gripping,
Yeah.
like unexpectedly so.
You've got the composite Goldberg performance. What a way to go. Terrible show.
Yeah, Saturday Night's Main Event, that's a great. Evolution, excellent. Those are our thoughts, but what were yours? Let us know in the comments below. Like, share and subscribe, do all that sort of stuff. Obviously, this will come late, so thank you very much for being patient and sticking with us while we've had this very busy day.
Yes, All in Texas reviews out now.
It's a long one, but a good one.
Just like the show.
And if you like that sort of crack, you can get absolutely loads of it on X at WhatCulture WWE, where you can also find Michael Sidgwick at
M. Sidgwick.
I'm at Michael Hamflett. We'll be back tomorrow with the Raw review and NXT preview with possibly a little bit of Great American Bash thoughts. Season in the preview, if I can be asked to get round to it tonight. Wilborn, I'm sure, will have picked that as a priority show from the entire weekend's event, so he'll be able to educate us, if nothing else. But until next time, we will see you soon.